Hello guys, and welcome back to episode 2 of the FTE Conversion. If you haven't seen part 1, make sure you check it out. It'll be in the link down below. But we've got the old 1FZ out, and we did end the episode on a bit of a scary moment.
Sam from Built Not Bought.
Just before we get started with today's episode, guys, it's ho 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 season. That is right. It's coming up to Christmas now. If you want to get a present for your dad or your brother or your mate who works on their four-wheel drive, click the link below and jump over to our website, because if you want to get that in time for Christmas, you need to put your order in basically today. Before the 5th of December, I think this is the day that we're going to go with. Because of COVID, there's a lot of shipping issues in that. So if you want to grab some merch, definitely check it out. There'll be a couple of specials on there. If you want to check those out, they'll be in the website homepage. And that's about it, basically. Oh, actually, here's what I'm going to do, right? I'm going to sign a sticker. For every order over $50, I'm going to sign a Built Not Bought sticker. And if you want to have a special message sent to your loved one for Christmas, put that in the little comment. There's a little section there to put a message when you place an order. I will see that, write a little card for them to chuck in the order. How about that? I just came up with that idea. Bloody amazing. I should have a degree in marketing, I swear to God.
1 week later.
This is called the spill valve controller. It's the EDU. It basically it makes this FTE the FTE, which is the electronic part. So it controls the fuel system. So without it, you'd run like a mechanical injection pump, but this actually makes it electronic. So we managed to track one down, which means we did have to get a new harness. But in doing so, we managed to find a guy called Thrashlux. Now he makes complete harnesses, and we decided to go down that road. Obviously, this is James's car, and he was chatting to the guy, and he has like a wealth of knowledge. So we got the part we needed, and he's actually done a harness and simplified it like crazy. Like literally the only thing that plugs into this is your electronic pedal, the ECU, and then the spill valve controller, and then everything goes into the firewall and marries up with the factory harness. So I did have a look through some different manuals and stuff to get pinouts, and there just wasn't enough detail to tackle it myself. So we've gone down that road, which means in this episode we can pretty much get that harness in and all the parts that we need to get the thing running, and then drop the motor in. But what we're going to start with in front of me is a fuel line. It's a hard line, so we've had to upgrade the fuel system to a 12 mil from the 10 mil because obviously the FTE uses a lot more fuel. We've changed the senders out, well, I'm about to, so we've got new senders, so we've changed the fuel tanks. They've obviously got petrol in them, so we've had to drain them, put diesel in, and then the senders now have the right inlets for the pump, because there is an internal pump for the petrol, but the diesel uses the pump obviously on the engine side there. So we're going to put this new line in, use the old 10 mil line as the return back to the tank. So we'll get those senders in, the fuel line in, and then we can start looking at dropping the motor in. So a bit of an update where we're at. It's a bit more work than I anticipated. I ended up pulling both the tanks out. So I took the main tank out, which is actually the front one on these, and then the rear tank, which is a sub tank, is actually an aftermarket one, which has caused another issue because I've pulled out the sender in that tank, and look at the size difference. So this is a standard sub tank in the 100 series or 105s, and look at that. So I'm gonna have to go somewhere and get some brazing done to extend this line, because obviously it's a 12 mil feed, 8 mil return, and we don't want to have the fuel pump in there. So I've got to sort that issue out. I've changed a sender in the main tank already, so that one worked, thankfully. And what I've decided to do, obviously we got this hard line, this 12 mil, and I'm going to use the 8 mil, the old feed from the petrol, and use that as a return line. So I bought a bunch of P-clamps. So I think what I'll do is I'll run a bunch of P-clamps. Instead of picking up the factory plastic ones, which obviously won't fit that large 12 mil line, I'll just run some nut certs and P-clamps, get all these hard lines installed in there, and then it's pretty much just adapting up all the hoses. So I bought some 12 mil fuel hose and some 8 mil, and just pretty much connect all those lines up. So a bit of a roadblock at the moment until we get that sender sorted, because I've got to get that main tank back in, or the rear tank back in, and then start plumbing everything up from there. So what I'm going to do next is clutch and flywheel. So I haven't got the flywheel on here on this motor yet, but I think it is an XCD clutch. So it's an aftermarket one, so it can handle a bit more of the torque, so there's no issues with the clutch slipping. So while we're waiting for those parts, I think we'll get on to putting this clutch in. We'll obviously get the flywheel on, and then just pretty much line up all the clutch disc and everything. And then also a different bell housing has got to go on the gearbox. So we're using the 1HD bell housing, and that marries up to this FTE engine. Righto, I'm about to do a very strange thing. Now, I'm a bit of a tight ass and I couldn't get this bearing out. It's a little thrust bearing that goes in there for the clutch. Here's what it is, a loaf of bread, right? Apparently you can shove bread inside the hole. I've got a little ram here, or you can use a bolt, bit of tape around it so it fits perfectly in that hole there. You shove bread in there, keep pushing in, and then start hammering this in, and then push more bread in, hammer it in. You get like probably half the loaf in there. But as you start hammering it, it's gonna push backwards on the bearing and start pushing it out. So, man, when I heard about that, I had to give it a go. There's no way I was not gonna not give this a go. Oh my God! Look at that. Oh my God! Holy shit, well, everything's changed. I did tell you at the start of the last episode that I'm gonna be winging this conversion just as much as you guys are watching. I mean, I'm just kind of working it out as I go. And this is a typical example. Now, the fuel system, we were looking at changing these things. These valve solenoids that transfer the fuel. So, turns out I currently get hold of one. Toyota do sell them, but literally 480 bucks for the main one and 360 for the return, just so they got different fittings. Ridiculous. So, I broke it. Oh no. I've decided to do a similar setup to what happens on the Patrols. I mean, they work fine, right? So what I've got is made a little T-piece here with a one-way valve. So essentially we're gonna use the sub-tank pump as a transfer pump into the main tank. So rather than changing the feed and it gets pulled from another tank, there's a switch in the dash which will turn the pump on from the 1FZ, the petrol engine that was in here, and it will pump the fuel into the main tank through this little valve here. Now this here is a full open circuit, so from the return of the motor, the fuel will come back through and then into the main tank, and it won't go into your sub tank because of that one-way valve, but when you turn the sub tank pump on, it should flow into the main tank and fill it up, transferring the fuel to your main tank, giving you the longer range. So that is the plan. So I'm gonna whack this in here. Everything will be just hooked up with hoses and clamps, and I should be able to get these tanks back in, and then we can start looking at dropping the motor in, because the Savo, James reckon he's coming around at 3 o'clock to help me drop this thing in. So I don't know what's the time, about 11 o'clock now. Got a couple of hours, get these tanks in, see how we're looking. Righto, we're getting very close now to be putting the motor in. Both the tanks are in there, so we've got everything plumbed up on the back end. We've got to sort the front out later, but we'll deal with that in a second. The last thing to do with this before we pretty much drop it in is just change the engine mounts. So if you're trying to wrap your head around what's going on, the FTE block is essentially the same sort of shape as a 1HZ, which is a non-turbo diesel. So we're going to be swapping these mounts out for 1HZ mounts. And then it should pretty much just marry up with the chassis in the 105. Update, we're very close. I don't know if you see in there, there's a small gap. The issue we've got is the motor's got to like rotate that way a bit. Oh, wait. Yeah, that way. So the dowel can line up, but it's all a bit fiddly.
A few moments later.
The engine's in, but the engine mounts aren't
Engine is in.
so
Oh my god, how exciting!
I know.
it just took like 2 hours.
Really?
So stoked.
James just spotted something.
Minor detail.
See that D-shackle there? Hard up against the firewall. How do you reckon it's going to come out?
Grinder.
I've got a free merch pack for somebody who can tell me in the comments below. How to get
Not
that
tell
out
who can get it out.
without pulling the motor out and without cutting it. Stuck D-shackle. Do you recognise where I am right now? Comment down below if you do. A bit of a clue, I'm wearing a jumper right now. And bonus points if you can guess what I'm doing here. Alright guys, welcome back to this week's tech tip. Now I have something that you probably didn't know your 4Drive had, and that is an air cabin filter. Especially during this coronavirus season, shall we say. Now look, it's not about that, but seriously guys, 4Drives, we go out in the bush, we go in the dust, we go in the mud, we go through water, we go through all sorts of random environments, sometimes asbestos. I've been into an asbestos yard in my car. And you wouldn't believe it, these cabin filters are what gets that outside air into your car, and I guarantee yours is chock-a-block full of crap. So the new N99 series of cabin filters from Ryco filter point 3 of a micron. So that is really fine, gets those dust particles out of the cab and gets you breathing that clean, smooth air. So what we're gonna do today, I'm gonna chuck this one in my brother's Ford Ranger to show you how simple and easy it is. A lot of the time, these are just hidden behind the glove box in most popular vehicles, but there is a little instruction set inside most of the boxes of these filters that tell you exactly where to find it. If not, go to your manual. Your vehicle manual will tell you exactly where to find that. Simple as opening the flap, changing it out, seeing the difference between the two, whacking the new one in, and going for a drive. So if you want to be sure that you're breathing that clean air this coronavirus season, make sure to check out the N99 range of filters from Ryco, and make sure to support the businesses that support Built Not Bought. Now back to that episode. All right guys, we're back a couple of days later. Well, actually a few days later. I've been tinkering around on this. Look at it, it's different. Anyway, you would have seen that in a previous video. So back onto this, I'm gonna leave James with it for a bit, and we're gonna be doing the wiring harness today, a bit more of the fuel system. We've got a Ryco filter to go in, as well as the factory filter and the priming pump. What else are we doing?
Finished bolting the engine down for starters.
Yes.
We've got the D-shackle out.
There's no
Got
oil.
the D-shackle
no oil
out.
in there.
No oil.
Also, D-shackle, which got stuck that you saw yesterday or 5 seconds ago in this video. We've got that out by pulling off the actual mount from the engine. Seems like a simple thing to do, but we weren't thinking about that at the time. So we'll try and pretty much connect everything we can. Obviously aircon lines, we've got power steering lines to do as well. There may be some issues and things we've got to change with that, but it's really just winging it like we have for the rest of this conversion, and see if we can get this thing running by the end of this week. So let's get into it.
Fingers crossed.
All right, so James has sorted out most of the wiring harness there. There's a couple more plugs to go in with some extra things that have been installed. What I've done just now is done most of the fuel system. Obviously we installed the rails earlier, but I've gone and added the factory fuel primer slash filter, and also an aftermarket Ryco water fuel separator, which I recommend for every diesel vehicle that I work on, to chuck one of those in there. A couple more hoses to plumb up into the fuel pump. But what I'm going to do now is basically put all the cooling system back in the front end. We'll get the headlights in, we'll put the radiator in, we'll put the fan back on, we've got a shroud, aircon condenser, grille, headlights, all that kind of stuff on the front end to make it look like a car again. And obviously we've put this crossbar back in here as well, welded that up. And what do they say? A grinder and paint makes the welder ain't? Something like that, I don't know. Rightio, headlights are sorted, the front end is on. Finished plumbing up all the fuel system. Now I'm going to start looking at electrical. Now with the dual battery system, we've gone for a little step up other than just using your standard kind of isolator, because James wants to be able to add those extra things such as solar and run different batteries like lithium, etc. So we've gone for a BC-DC charger. Now the cool thing about these ones in particular, they're actually IP rated, so they can be installed in the engine bay. Now this is the Redarc BCDC 11225, so it's a 25 volt charger for the 12 volt batteries, and it will assess the battery you've got and choose the right charging profile and voltage current for that. So we're thinking of sticking it down here right near the starting battery, give us some room to play with. So we'll install all that, get the batteries in there, finish off a few odds and ends when it comes to power steering lines, aircon, and we'll be pretty damn close to firing this thing up. I'm heading off to Perth this weekend, so I don't know if it's gonna happen. I'm trying to get it sorted before this weekend, but if not, I may not have time to actually get that episode completed. So if that's the case, I'm on a holiday right now in Perth for a couple of weeks to see the family. Next episode, stay tuned guys, we'll be cranking this thing over and going for its first run, possibly a dyno tune as well. And yeah, see how these FTEs run. I'm real excited to do the first diesel conversion on this channel ever. It's like, I don't even know if these white walls can handle the soot, you know what I mean? Anyway, I'm out of here.
They say the definition of subscribe is to arrange to receive something, typically a publication, regularly by paying in advance. Please arrange to receive something, typically a publication, regularly by paying in advance by clicking the button below.